A week or so ago, we made this little guy, this metronome, and it was still clicking too fast even after changing the resistors and the capacitor. So we're going to redo it, and we're going to add in an LED that'll blink along with the clicking so that you get a visual indication as well, as some folks have suggested. Alright, stick around. Let's get it done. Okay, let's put it together. We're going to start out with our 555 timer. And then we're going to need a VCC flag. And we're also going to need a ground flag. And what we'll do is we will just simply connect them together. Like so. So far, pretty simple, right? Alright, the next thing we want to do is we want to take our reset line and make sure it's held high. So far, so good. Now, we're going to need to add in some of our components. And this is where we have to start being just a little bit careful, because if we select the wrong footprint, when we go to make this a PCB, we're not going to get what we want. So it's going to be different for every program you use. It doesn't matter which program you use. Just make sure that when you select something that you get the absolute right footprint. So our first thing we're going to choose is going to be our resistor to put on pin 5, the control pin, and go to ground. It's electrolytic capacitor, so we just want to make absolutely sure that we've got it where we need to be. And it is going to be 0.01 microfarad. And I just need to make those notations in the program. It's better if you do this with every component that you place, as opposed to doing it at the end. If you try and do it at the end, I guarantee you're going to miss something, and things are not going to work out as you had planned. Okay? So next we need another capacitor to go from pin 2, our trigger pin, to ground as well. And I'm going to stick this one out here a ways, because we're going to need some other stuff to go with it. And it's going to be 100 microfarad. There we go. Get that. Whoops. Connected in there. Now I know some of you guys are like, you're taking too long doing this stuff. Well then, by all means, feel free to skip over it, because there are people out there who've never done this before, and I want them to see how to do it. Okay? And this also goes to ground. Okay. So far, so good. Now we're going to need a couple of trimmer pots. And I'm going to go grab them, and we'll be right back and talk about them. Okay, what we're seeing here is the symbol, the footprint, and then a picture. Now the one I'm going to use is not exactly like this, but it's close enough to this that I know what I'm going to do. So the important things to look here, actually, hold on, let me, wrong button, pardon me. Well, I'm just all over the place here. Let's try one of these. Yeah, something like this. And what I want to show you is the important things here. So what we have here is resistor, adjustable, through hole, 3 pins, length 9.5, width 9.5, and the pitch is 2.54. So when you're looking for the parts, those are the things that you have to look for in order to make sure everything lines up the way you want. Okay, so now we're going to put together our timing part of the circuit. We're going to use a couple of 22K resistors on either side of this 100K resistor. Oops. We're going to connect those all together. And we're going to feed them some power here from VCC. And then they are going to connect through the wiper pin of our variable resistor and the threshold pin on our NE555. That doesn't go there. So that is our timing circuit, and by varying this resistor, we can vary the amount of resistance that goes into this capacitor here, thereby changing the time that it takes for this thing to switch from on to off. Alright, so next we need a couple more components: a buzzer, an LED, another resistor, and a transistor. Okay, we've got our buzzer, our transistor, and our another variable resistor here that is going to basically be our volume control. We'll just stick this in here like this. We don't need to see the prefix. Sometimes I can't talk. So we're going to start by taking our buzzer, wiring one side to ground, and one side of this guy is also going to go to ground, and then we'll connect the wiper to the base of our NPN transistor, the emitter to one side of the buzzer, the other side of the transistor, the collector, is going to go up here and go to VCC, so that it is now powered, and the amount of current that will flow through the collector emitter junction will be controlled by this variable resistor right here, which we are going to send over to pin 3. So our output now, ooh, didn't get that in there, didn't get that connected there, did I? Okay, so our output now, when it goes high, it's going to send that signal over here, and the variable resistor will determine how much of it gets to the transistor, which takes our VCC power to power the buzzer. Alright? And then finally we need to put in another resistor. In this case it's probably going to be about, I don't know, 330 ohms, probably good. We don't need to see the prefix. Oh, I can't talk. And that is also going to come off of pin 3, and it's going to go to our LED. So there's a standard 5mm LED. We'll connect all those things up. And we've almost got our circuit, but there's one thing missing that if you're just starting out might throw you for a loop when you try and make a PC board, is where are you going to put power? Because ground down here in VCC up here are just flags. They're not going to give you anything on the PCB layout. So what I generally do is I just get myself a header. You can put it wherever you want. I generally tell it what pins go to where. So we'll say 1 is negative, 2 is positive. And then we'll connect those pins up. 1 to VCC. And 1 to ground. So now our schematic should be good. We don't have any non-connected pins, and hopefully we don't have any open pins. So what we're going to do is we're going to run our design check on it just to make sure. Okay, so we've got everything converted to our PCB and it passed our design checks, but we still have one small problem. Can you spot it? Right there, that capacitor C1, I did not pick a through hole for it. I missed that. So it's defaulted to a surface mount, and I don't do surface mount. So I'm going to have to correct that. Give me 1 second. Alright, we've got it all corrected. Now, go to the board outline here. I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. I like a long board, what can I say? If I was a surfer, I'd be a longboard surfer. So now we can start populating the board. And let's start with our power supply doohickey here. I'm shuffling my notes, that's what you hear. We'll put it up there. We don't need a prefix display, but we do need the name display. We'll come in and we'll fix all that soon enough. Next, I think I want my 555 timer. And I'm trying to line it up so that these traces are as straight as possible. Again, display name, yes. Display prefix, no. And then we're going to bring in our resistors. Get them lined up as neatly as I can. Once again, I am no PCB designer. I just muddle by. And I think we need to put our, oh, we need to mark these. Prefix display, no. Name display, yes. Name display, yes. Prefix display, no. Plane name, yes. Prefix, no. Don't worry, we're going to come through here once we get everything pretty well laid out. Let's get our capacitors going here. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to line them up. Something like that. Doesn't look too terrible, does it? Alright. Maybe we'll put our transistor up here. That's our LED. And our LED kind of over here by the buzzer. Then we want these guys. 1 second. Okay, we'll bring these guys up here kind of like this. And we definitely want to see what they are. Tone and volume. We'll kind of rotate them so that the rat lines aren't too bad. Something like that. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to force you to watch the rest of this. I'm going to whip it up and I'll be back in a second. So it's been a second for you. It's been about 45 minutes for me. And here's where we're at. We've got our 555 timer over here. We've got our resistors here, our capacitors lined up. We've got our tempo and our volume. And I moved all the labels inside. We've got our LED. We've got our buzzer. If we go to the bottom layer, you can see we have a nice copper layer here. If we go to the top silk, you can see we've got our symbol and our other stuffs. So I think we are ready to output our Gerbers. So it's going to be different for every program. I can't tell you how to do it. You're going to have to look it up how to do it for your program. But I'm going to output my Gerbers and then we're going to send them off and get them ordered. Okay, so the Gerbers are outputted. All we need to do now is get ourselves an instant quote. We're looking at, 80 by 40 millimeters. We'll grab 5 of them. We'll do black and white. Click here. This is how easy it is to order from PCBWay. And now look at this. We're down here. $18 and we'll have them in less than a week. Come on, you can't beat that, right? Let's save that to our cart. And let's add our Gerbers in. Hello. Alright, keep it in downloads. Let you know. Do. Pop that bad boy in there. And she is ready to roll. Let's take a look at the Gerbers. Okay. So here's a look at our Gerber. There's the top view. Of course, it's going to be in black, but they're showing us in green here, and that's no problem. There's the bottom. You can see all our layers. I think it's going to make a nice board. Alright, so these are ordered. Now all we got to do is wait about a week. See you next week. No. See you in a couple seconds. Exactly 6 days later, and ba-boom, we got boards. So there's the original, and there's the new. And there's somebody who decided to cut grass when I'm making a video. Gonna solder one of these up. Pardon the train. There's always something going on when I'm trying to shoot a doggone video. Anyway, we're working about 90%, except that LED is not blinking. And it is in parallel with the buzzer. I don't get it. The tempo controls seem to work just fine. But look at this. I also get nothing from the volume control, except a little bit of dimming of the LED, but I get nothing. Like when I change the tempo here, I'm still getting nothing from the LED. I just really don't understand the problem there. So I'm going to have to put some more thought into this. If you have an idea, leave it down below. I think that's long enough for today. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Big thanks to all the patrons. Big thanks to you. That's it. I'm out. Peace. I want to thank you all for watching and spending time with me today. A community like this is something that we can all be very proud of. So again, thank you very much for all your support of Learn Electronics. Please feel free to check out the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask, and really helps keep the channel alive. We also have an Amazon shop where you can buy most of the items that you see on here, and there's a link to it down below.